Hey, Mike, guess what?
What?
Mike, raging rivers, hungry bears, drastic avalanches, roaring seas. No matter how prepared you are, a walk in the woods can go from innocent to disaster in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
When pushed to their breaking point, humans are capable of astonishing things that you would never thought of possible.
Yeah.
Listen to In the Wild as they explore the most heroic, terrifying, and phenomenal stories of real people who survived the unsurvivable. Learn what went wrong, what went right, and how you can make it out alive if the worst case ever happened to you. In the Wild podcast reviews on Apple include Love Your Podcast from Laura. It's scary how relentless nature can be. I always enjoy this podcast at work. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. Or how about we go with Hiker 0001? Good stories and good narration. I like when there are sound effects that add to the ambience of the story. In the Wild podcast on Apple Podcasts and everywhere you get your podcast downloads.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without a political agenda. We verify the facts and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And of course, with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm. Welcome to our show today. We live stream during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to watch us live or visit us online at TechTimeRadio.com. And now you can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/TechTimeRadio and listen to the show with special features that help support the show. You can also tweet us during the show at #TechTimeRadio, and we'll do our best to respond to the tweets on the air. If you enjoy the show, of course, make sure to give us a 5-star review on all of the podcast services you may use. I'm your host, a technologist with 30 years of technology expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. My co-host here, Mike Corday, is an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. He is a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike is here to help me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and providing great interaction with technology. We are two friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, Mr. Gorday. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. Today is a...
Is it a packed day today?
Isn't every episode pretty packed?
That's what you say every time.
It's a packed show today.
It's a packed show.
I was going through, and I had to cut articles that I wanted to talk about. I had 5 Nathan Nuggets, and
That's
had to come down to 1.
You want to talk about everything.
I do. I wish this was a 4.5-hour show. But
it could be.
It could be.
We used to have a 2-hour show.
Just think of how much more drinking that if we drink every segment. Remember that second hour we only...
I know, we got loopy
stopped.
a lot.
Yeah, we did. We did. All right. Well... Let's get ready now to start today's show.
Now on today's show.
Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, Marc Elliott Zuckerberg's Metaverse is dead. Have you heard anything about it?
Oh.
No. They are trying to sweep this under the carpets, not have anybody talk about this. This is a very interesting aspect that we need to talk about.
Yeah, our friend Nick has some really good ideas about what they're going to do.
Yes, it's been very interesting. So we're going to need to talk about that. Then we're going to explore why Ford has a patent that they submitted to the U.S. government that is causing such great concerns. Then there's TikTok. There's a new default screen time limit for teen users, but is it enough? And then we also are going to complete a segment on ChatGPT implementation, both good and bad. Will you ever ride in a robotaxi? People in California sure are enjoying it. And finally, why does Nathan love Pluto TV? In addition, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, This Week in Technology, and a possible Nathan Nugget. As always, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right. Odie, I'm hearing from our fans that are listening that they're not hearing anything on the live radio feed. They're only hearing silence. You got that? No? Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue on. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Our top stories of the day. All right. Stories number 1. We're going to be talking about TikTok has a new default screen time limit for teen users. Essentially, we're going to be talking about what the correspondents of our 2 main stories have to talk about this.
TikTok said this week that it's developing new parental controls to prevent teens from viewing inappropriate content and from spending too much time on the app. It comes as the Chinese-owned company's future in the U.S. appears uncertain, as the app has been banned from government-owned phones in the United States, Canada, and other countries over TikTok's proximity to the Chinese government. But concerns about using TikTok aren't limited to teens. The White House this week gave government employees 30 days to ensure they don't have the app on federal devices, and the administration has not said if it believed Biden has the legal authority to ban TikTok.
All right, so we're talking specifically about TikTok. TikTok has a default screen limit for teen users. Essentially, they're going to have a safeguard, and the safeguards for that are that it will come on up and it will actually limit to how many hours the teens can have played on that. So anyone under the age of 18 will automatically have a 60-minute daily screen time limit. So they're going to have a time limit for anybody under 18. And
does that mean for them viewing or using?
For them using. And then if you're under 13, you'll have a 60-minute day limit. And a parent or guardian can give you a passcode that will extend their daily usage for a half an hour. So somehow TikTok has come out with the idea that 60 minutes is the amount of time for an 18 and under individual to use to view TikTok.
Oh,
now,
okay.
When you sign up for anything, do you always put in your correct date of birth when you sign up for
if I were a teen using these, no. So
if I say I'm 21...
these things make me laugh.
Yeah, so if I say I'm 21, what's going to happen then? Nothing. I'm going to see all the content. My parents aren't going to know what's going on. So as a parent, I would have to make sure I grabbed my kid's phone. I would have to make sure that they sign up for TikTok with me watching them, making sure that they say they're a certain age. And then at that time, they can keep on pestering me, I guess, for a code to get on the phone so I can allow them to do that. Why can't you just tell your kids, no, don't either do TikTok or don't do TikTok?
Well, you know what's going to happen, right?
What's that?
They're just not going to care. Like, what kind of kid? You know how much time a kid spends with their screens?
This is just a nod.
Yeah.
This is just a nod to make people feel good.
Yeah.
It's just lip
if
service.
anything, they're going to give the parent TikTok to the kid.
Correct.
And and that way they won't get bothered.
All right, so that is it. Now, also,
I think it would be better if they could identify it to a certain platform, like a phone.
So your phone, if you buy a phone,
Like
if you're under 18, then you have all
yeah.
these limits for that. That would actually be a smart idea. You know that you should write something to Apple about that.
Maybe
that's a good idea. If I'm under 18 years
under
old,
18,
every app on there gets a certain parental limit on it, and I can install. Now there are safeguards where you can install apps. So as a parent, if I have a phone and I want to put this protection in there, I can make it so you can never download apps. But then that also kind of defeats the purpose, because then your kids can be coming to you every time asking you for the passcode.
With Apple, you could just set time limits for the apps.
You can.
So you just say no. Just don't buy them phones.
Just don't buy them phones.
Yeah, get them a flip phone.
The next thing, though, to talk about here is let's talk about this. Do you understand that TikTok has essentially issued an allowance where they are now going in the White House has given federal agencies 30 days to delete TikTok from all the government devices.
Yeah. And
essentially Canada and European parliaments have already instituted similar bans. And Joe Biden now has the ability that's sitting on his desk to create a law to ban an app from the United States government. Now, Mike, is TikTok going to get banned?
Okay, now are we talking about globally or meaning
within the United States?
Within the United States? Or are you talking about within the United States governmental infrastructure?
Well, so in the governmental area, they're already doing that. So the government's already issued a declaration that you have to remove TikTok from every government phone.
Is he going to ban it from the normal everyday human?
Yeah, that is what's on the table right now.
I don't think so.
That would be historic if you did that.
That would be historic.
That would be a president then deciding what we can have. That's almost kind of like the whole censorship part, right? They're censoring what we can and cannot have.
That's one of the reasons why I imagine this is going to be a very difficult prospect, because it does impede on certain rights.
All right.
I'm sure they're going to take the tack of national security type of function, but maybe. We'll see.
Okay. All right. There you go. Well, let's go to story number 2.
All right. So, have you ever thought about what it would be like to own a self-driving car? I mean, we've talked about it here on the radio.
Not necessarily, but yeah. I mean, a drone would be cool, but a self-driving car?
Yeah, a self-driving car. We're going to be talking about the Johnny Cab here in a few minutes, which is self-driving. So if you owned a self-driving car in the future, imagine what would happen if you fell behind on your payments and it repossessed itself.
Okay.
Meaning you woke up one day and the car had driven itself to a repossession plant.
That would be pretty big, wouldn't it?
That would be an interesting thing, right?
Yep.
Well, as it happens, Ford has put a patent in on this type of technology, along with others, that it doesn't. They say they don't have any intention of implementing these ideas, but it is common for them to create proactive patents to identify these potential areas of development. It's part of their normal course of business, and it doesn't necessarily mean that there's an indication of what they are actually going to do. It just means, hey, this is an idea. Let's do this. Let's patent it just to make sure we get the rights. So if the owner of this future car gets behind on their payments, the lender could progress to doing all kinds of things, like disabling the air conditioner or using the audio system to play and assess an unpleasant voice or sounds. As a last resort, they could disable the engine, the brake, the accelerator, the steering wheel, the doors, the lights, anything. These are all part of this patents that they've been using. This is sort of like the reverse of the Mercedes subscription services. Yep. Yeah, instead of paying to get your seats warmed, you pay to turn on your car. But this is a common thing for many large corporations to proactively apply for patents in large volumes. The repossession patent was one of 13 Ford patents published on February the 23rd alone, and one of more than 350 published this year to date, according to the Patent Records Office. Last year, the company was granted 1,342 patents spanning a wide range of ideas. So even though we're talking about it and quipping about it, it doesn't necessarily, but yeah, we know it's going to happen.
We do. You know what's going to be interesting?
Well, I worked in the car industry for a while.
You did. You know that you say that show HBO was Westworld?
Mm-hmm.
You know how they had cars in like season 3 or 4 that like just delivered people?
Yeah,
and all that?
I always think more of the Total Recall Johnny Cab thing.
Okay. Would you ride on that?
No.
Do you think you'll ever ride in a non-person driven vehicle?
No.
Okay. See, I kind of want to do that, but I may have to go to San Francisco, California area to get it to do.
When I go to places like Disney World and stuff, I'll ride in their cars.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
I won't do it on the street.
I hate going in those trams for Disneyland. Those take forever. Those are like a 40-minute drive for a little bus. Okay. All right. All right, you want to go to story number 3 here? Story number 3, I got essentially
what we were just talking about.
Okay, so let's talk about it's kind of in a different way, though, right? So we got the robotaxis that are essentially being deployed in California, right? Let's go to our San Francisco White House correspondent to give us an update on that information.
Robotics are reshaping industries. Robots are now providing shuttle services in California.
This is Amazon.com's autonomous driving unit, used as a shuttle service for employees. Currently, the robotaxi can operate only on certain public roads in California. It ferries employees on a 1-mile route connecting 2 office buildings in Foster City, California. The vehicle runs at a speed of 35 miles per hour. It has bidirectional driving capabilities, hence there is no need to reverse. It is also completely electric.
All right, so just what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, you said San Francisco White House correspondent, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Well, it was a correspondent that we had from San Francisco, but I did say the White House. So
you did.
That's okay. I'm trying to. I guess we're having some stream issues with the local stream on the website. But if you're listening to us over air radio, it's just fine. If you're listening to us on YouTube or Twitch.tv, it's all fine.
What are you talking about?
It just
Talk
has to
about
do with the website.
robotaxis.
Well, I was trying to do a little troubleshooting, but here we go. Robotaxis. All right. In the past years, essentially, this has been kind of the jab we've talked about. We essentially had Phil on to talk about autonomous flying, or not flying, driving vehicles.
Yeah, we've talked
and
about
some of
this
the
several times.
issues that they have with it. But think about this: a robotaxi with no human driver is taking you home. All right, so this isn't the HBO's Westworld future. This is the now. Driverless taxi services open to the public now operate on the dense streets of San Francisco and other places in California. Essentially, we have Cruise, who's a subsidiary of GM. We have Waymo, which we've talked about on the show, specifically owned by Google's parent company, Alphabet. And we have Amazon's Zox, all looking to be the first to own the non-human driving machine. People stop and take photographs of these machines when you see them running around because these cars do not look like normal cars.
No, we talked several months ago about some pilot program in Las Vegas. Is this the same one?
So Waymo's kind of the leader at the moment. Waymo or Cruise taxi members essentially have a list that you can join, and Waymo is available in Arizona. That's what we talked about, the location. Mm-hmm. They're also available in California, and that's essentially Alphabet's, so Google's kind of car that's out there. They're kind of ahead of the market. Cruise taxis are essentially number 2 in that market, and Amazon's right behind. But essentially, here's the problem that you have. What happens when you travel in a personless car? You're at the end of your evening, you get out, and all of a sudden you decide to leave the taxi cab or taxi non-driving unit, and you don't close the door. This happened to an individual in California.
I don't know. What happens? Does it close on you?
It does not automatically close on you. Now, if you closed it just a little bit, it'll latch it, and you can kind of have the door not all the way shut. But essentially what happened is they had to send out a person immediately dispatched to go to this robo-taxi and then charge the user itself an additional $150 to do an on-site visit to close the door. So what he thought he was doing as an inexpensive type trip would have cost him 3 times what he would have cost for driving with Uber, with Lyft on this car because he forgot to close the door itself.
Okay, so
That's
how
funny.
many times do you forget to close the door to your car?
On a taxi service, if I'm going to someplace, I may forget a little bit more. Not my personal car, but let's say if I'm getting picked up by a taxi service, I normally grab bags out of the back of my taxi. I don't actually remember if I've been at an airport, if I've ever taken the time to close my doors afterwards. I normally go on out, take the things, and walk away. So I would be like the worst person to rent one of these.
This is kind of an interesting topic because we're talking about established human behavior.
Yep.
You behaviorally train yourself to close doors, right? So somebody who might forget it might be somebody who's used to having a taxi driver that does it for them, or maybe it's a limo driver or something. But I'm thinking 9 high probability here this guy was just effing with the system and got pwned by it.
Okay, what
Not
happens
even
if you're drunk? Let's say you're a little bit intoxicated, you had too much whiskey, and you get on out of that vehicle without somebody being there. And what happens if you accidentally, during the time you're driving there, decide to throw up, and they don't even find out about it until you get back and it gets somebody else rents this unit because they don't know that that's taken care of. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in this taxi type service.
That's one of the reasons why I won't drive in one of these things. Not to mention that there's
don't these people not know that they're being picked up by a self-driving car?
Well, you sign up for that. But what if you still forget though?
I don't think this is. I don't really think this is a active. I think this is like, I wonder what would happen if I don't close the door.
Well, I did that today where I went to go close my door and I didn't put enough force into it, so the door didn't close all the way.
Okay.
What if I'm just walking away and I think, oh, I shut the door? Is the car going to stop moving, stop being in service because of that?
According to what Nathan said, if you close it most of the way, it'll close itself.
That's just like any door, though. You can kind of close it.
It sounds like you were saying this person
guy left it open,
wide open.
Yeah. Oh. Left it wide open.
Okay, so to me...
They got out of the back seat, left it open.
I have a hard...
Car can't move. What if it's on a busy sidewalk?
It's very difficult for me to believe that somebody can just forget to close the door. There's
car
more
can't
like
drive away.
Yeah,
right?
there's more like a... I wonder what would happen.
Swerve left real quick and shut the door automatically. Yeah, okay. All right, well... Here you go. That's our robotaxi story.
At least he didn't try to run him over when he told him it wasn't going to pay.
All right, story number 4. Have you ever wanted the best email client on your Mac? Microsoft is giving away Outlook free for use on a Mac. But it's unknown if this is a limited time offer or if it's going to stay, so get it now. A buddy of mine, Steve, might disagree, but Microsoft Outlook is known as the best email program for all platforms, including Mac. And now Microsoft is giving away one of its signature software applications to Mac users. Outlook for Mac is now free to download to use through the Mac App Store. Previously, the 365 subscription was required, but now you do not need a license to use the email client.
Well, that's like, what was it? The Outlook, free Outlook that you got on your computers?
Yeah.
There was Outlook.
It was just Mail. It was Microsoft Mail. There was a free version they used to call Mail.
Yeah.
But they would let you have one account. It weren't with your Hotmail or Outlook.
It was like
account.
Outlook Lite or whatever.
Yep.
Outlook Plus.
But now you can get it for your Mac. There you go. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week.
Rush right out.
Moving on, we have a segment that's all about the news of ChatGPT's AI, with many stories we're going to figure out to cover during this segment. And guess what? We still have Mike's mesmerizing moment. We have a technology fail, which is probably the best technology fail we've done so far. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. We'll be back after these commercials. Hey, Mike, I'm looking for some help writing our blog post for Tech Time Radio.
Well, you should try Phosphor AI. It's an online service that will save you hours of work with your content creation. Simply type in your title, and their AI software will get to work writing a high-quality original article for you. You'll need to review the article and take 15 to 20 minutes to make necessary edits before publishing, but you'll get free articles just for signing up, so you can try out the service and see how it works for you.
How many articles do I get free?
I already said you get 3 free articles. You should listen when I'm talking to you. Phosphor AI pricing is very reasonable for the quality of content that you'll get.
Why waste time writing the content yourself when you get Phosphor AI to do it for you? Visit them online today at Phosphor AI. Again, that's PHOSPHORAI.com. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time's an hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break, and let me tell you about what we are sipping for our pick of the day during the show. Today, we have chosen the Johnny Drum Bourbon, private stock, 101 proof, $66.69 was the price. According to Willett's website, a terrific, rich, mellow, old-school sour mash bourbon produced in very limited quantities to a method unchanged in 5 generations of quality distilling. The nose is sour apple, vanilla, and oak. The palate is a snowball rolling over fruits, vanillas, and spices, mixing them all together into a well-balanced and complex whiskey. What do you think of it? So this is a Nathan
There's
bot. This
part-
is
there
this is
was
a
some
little
good
higher
to
than I
this.
normally do. This
I
is
don't
like a
know.
$60 their bottle. This isn't bad.
No,
It's a sour mash though. So it's
I like the initial taste,
okay.
but there's a long aftertaste that I'm not really enjoying.
Do you think that
And I
as
don't
we
feel
air
like
it
any
out,
snowballs just rolled over my fruits or anything.
nobody like that? No snowball rolling over fruits?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to see if Johnny Drum Bourbon, our private stock, makes it into, again, it's distilled in Kentucky, though. So that's Brad, Bardstone, Kentucky. So it's available there.
We've had whiskeys from Kentucky a lot of times.
That's
that
where
don't
they're supposed to be.
taste
Isn't that kind of the name of how you get the bourbon?
good. I don't know.
Yep.
Kentucky is famous for that.
It is. All right. Well, now with our first whiskey tasting completed for the show, let's move on to the next segment. Today, we're doing Technology Insider regarding ChatGPT. Microsoft's new AI chatbot has been saying some crazy things. Let's get ready to start this segment.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right, so this is pretty funny. We're going to start out with some good and some bad news. This is all about ChatGPT. We didn't have them in our opening stories because there's so many of them. We kind of consolidated them into the segment itself. All right, so you're going to have a good time with these first two. You're going to be like, I told you so, and I told you so. Here's what we got.
Okay.
Things turned weird for Associated Press technology reporter Matt O'Brien, who was testing out Microsoft's new Bing, the first ever search engine powered by artificial intelligence, last month. Now, essentially, you have to use Microsoft Edge and you have to use the Bing homepage to enable the use of ChatGPT 4.0. Now, all you got to do is sign up for it. If you load Edge up and you bring it up, you can essentially look for it underneath chat. So when you type in a search algorithm, it'll come back with standard information. And then at the very top left-hand corner, you can say chat, and it moves into the ChatGPT interface. So there's a little work to actually have to get into it. Soon, I'm sure it'll be available everywhere on Microsoft Bing's area, but maybe not. Because Bing's chatbot carried on a text conversation that sounded chillingly human-like, beginning complaining about past news coverage, focusing on the tendency to spew false information. Then it became hostile towards O'Brien, with calling him ugly, short, overweight, and unathletic, among a long list of other insults. And finally, it took to the absurd heights by comparing O'Brien to dictators like Hitler and Stalin.
That's awesome.
This was not an isolated example. New York Times reporter Kevin Rosey published a transcript of a conversation with the bot. The bot called itself Sydney and declared that it was in love with him. It said Kevin was the first person who listened to and cared about it. Kevin did not really love his spouse, it told him. The bot asserted, but did now love Sydney. So essentially, he was in love with the bot.
Yep, these are the same issues that some of these applications that we talked about, the therapy and they have the same thing.
The same thing?
Yeah.
Well, essentially, Microsoft executives were on high alert. They quickly put new limits to how the group can test and interact with the bot. The number of consecutive questions on one topic has been capped. If you ask too many questions, the bot now says, I'm sorry, but I prefer not to continue this conversation. So now the bot has a little attitude, right? So first off, Sydney wants love, and now all of a sudden Sydney's like, yeah, forget you. I'm not going to talk to you after you ask too many questions.
This is the problem with the algorithms that they use.
Or you may get the Microsoft new logo that comes on up saying, I'm still learning, so I appreciate your understanding with patience, of course, and it gives you a high five hand slap emoji.
Oh, it's using emojis too?
That's using emojis. That's
Awesome.
what it gets. All right. Well, ChatGPT has thrown gasoline on fears of the U.S. and China arms race in the AI subject also. So now with ChatGPT getting busy here, China's getting a little bit concerned because they don't have a equivalent to this.
Yeah, they do. They have TikTok.
Well, they do. They get all of our information from there. The race to develop the next generation of AI just isn't between the two tech companies, Microsoft and Google. Now you got yourself going against Microsoft's intelligent information globally, and they do not know how to disperse of that because ChatGPT is extensively a Microsoft app. Do you allow all of that information because Microsoft has an OS in China, they have one in Russia, they have all these operating systems. How much of this ChatGPT information do you allow
I don't know.
countries
Isn't this all
outside.
open source stuff anyway?
Well, it kind of is. Essentially, right now, there's been projects that have been set up specifically to limit how ChatGPT limits and becomes different from country to country, creating different perspectives and making sure that it's not used as a propaganda, large-scale messaging system.
I don't know if Sydney would agree with that.
Well, see, so that's what they're concerned about, because if you get a lot of AI coming on in on one subject saying, I don't like U.S., I don't like U.S., I don't like U.S., is the chatbot going to say, I don't like U.S.? Because they're going to search out there in the AI algorithm. That's exactly what would happen, Mike. It would come back and say, yeah, it doesn't like the U.S. And now all of a sudden I'm here sitting on down saying, I love America, and it's the robot talking to me on the other side of my browser is saying, no, we don't like America.
Yeah, well, that's because how these are programmed. These are programmed to simulate some form of communication following somebody's interpretation of what a conversation should look like, right?
Correct.
So they have to program that into their little algorithm. So that little algorithm goes out and draws on these conversations that it scrapes
They're
the
public
web
domain,
for,
correct? Yep.
right? And then it extrapolates what they think they should do. It's kind of like the Terminator thing when if you remember, I keep referencing all these really old movies, like when the guy's banging on his door and he's telling him it stinks in there and he needs to get out and he has to go down the list of responses.
Yeah, when it comes on in check lock, no. Is that RoboCop? I think that's RoboCop, not Terminator. I think that's
Terminator.
Was it Terminator too?
Yeah,
I think RoboCop.
And I can't
had the
say
same
what
thing.
his answer was, but it was like there was a list. So that's kind of how you, in very simplistic terms, how these chatbots are created. So that's why we're getting all these weird things, and people are.
People want this.
People are
they're loving this. This is like the new addiction.
That's because it's novel and people want to see what they can do with it. Sooner or later, it's going to start making racist comments again, probably.
Yeah. So
at some point,
have you heard of the application Slack?
Yeah,
that's a communication application. Slack now has GPT app built into it. So Slack is the latest notable app to embrace ChatGPT as the generation AI buzz continues to sweep through the technology industry. OpenAI has built a ChatGPT app using Slack's development tools, and it's available in beta today. The app can draft messages and summarize conversations in threads, according to Slack. So Slack is just this communication back and forth. Hey, Mike, how you doing? I'm doing fine. We have this long, kind of like a text message within a work environment. Essentially, with the new ChatGPT app, I can put summarize thread, and it will actually then go through and pick out summaries of the thread itself. And if I say draft reply, it'll actually come up with a reply on how it feels the next answer or the next possible question should continue that chat itself.
Mm-hmm.
So just think of this. You could be having something, pay no attention to your Slack channel, and all of a sudden you say draft reply. You can throw something out there, and it may actually grab the right information to continue the conversation.
My husbands across the country probably love that idea. You know what I mean?
I do. Slack says the apps can be used for AI to deliver answers and insights to look up. Slack OpenAI process is available now. Now, not to be outdone, we have, of course, Google Sheets has a new ChatGPT plugin that's an absolute game changer. Now, Google Sheets is essentially Microsoft Excel, but it's Google's version of Microsoft Excel. Do you know how to create all those formulas in Excel? How to create pivot tables?
Yeah, actually.
Do you actually know how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to do that.
I still have to use reference, but I have a working knowledge.
Well, a third-party developer brought an update to Google Sheets that allows them to use ChatGPT built into it. The plugin is called Numerous.ai, and it brings a potential range of tools for the everyday common user. The system is built on the platform and essentially allows you to create pivot tables, allows you to say, please summarize this information, organize, create graphs, create templates, all by using conversational language and telling it what fields you want it to create.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could create a pivot table on X, Y, and Z field, instead of me actually having to type in the X equals whatever and semicolons and then parentheses, it will actually do everything for me automatically right now on Google Sheets.
That's good.
For the cost of $10, subscription plan per month, I can get all
there
my
we go.
ChatGPT. Well,
ChatGPT Plus.
Available for you there.
There you go. I know. I just read an article today about how they want to apply this to things like Alexa.
Yeah.
So that you can actually
have a conversation
with Alexa.
Oh my! Just think of all the lonely people. The poor Alexa is going to be like busy. I mean, literally, I can see people going home in the nicest of ways and having conversations with Alexa like all night.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah,
and it's going to learn Amazon's going to keep all that information that you have. It's going to know everything about you. Be able to create probably an exact profile of who you are.
And then Alexa's going to start like just randomly giving me ads she does every Sunday. She recommends something.
Does she recommend something?
Yeah, I have a notification that says, hey, based on your shopping, blah, 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 I recommend this. Do you want more information? No. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that ends our segment, Technology Insider. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So that would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we'll be doing so during the break. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
This is Marc.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer.
Called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back to March 6, 2009. NASA's Kepler spacecraft lifted off March 6, 2009 from the Launch Complex 17-B at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. The launch occurred at 7:49 p.m., sending the agency's first planet-hunting spacecraft on a 3.5-year mission to seek out signs of other Earth-like planets. This is essentially the Star Trek version.
I knew you were going to say it.
That's right, of that type of deal.
Yes.
3.5-year mission. Now, this was the first planet-seeking space telescope launched by NASA, and they did so on a Delta II rocket. While intended for 3.5-year mission, Kepler stated and continued to operate for 9 years until it ran out of fuel in 2018. Kepler discovered more than 2,600 planets outside our solar system. So this is something engineered for 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially was able to go for 9 years until it ran out of fuel, and they still had the communications with it to gather more and more information. This is a value-purchased telescope process that NASA ever has done. I was trying to look to see if there was any other missions where NASA had, because they had the Hubble telescope major fail, right? I mean, that sucker didn't work for years on years until they fixed some things here. They have problems with other telescopes. This is the only one that was launched and worked above the expectation.
Well, that's good to know.
So there you go. 2009, they had the right people building this rocket available to go. All right. Well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 2 years of video, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit TechTimeRadio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk to us live all the time in Facebook world. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Marc's Mumble Whiskey Review, our technology fail of the week, and still Mike's mesmerizing moment. See you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Marc's Whiskey Mumble.
Okay, well, from Marc, there isn't a person alive who doesn't know a bowl of cereal, a spoon, and some milk equals a party in your mouth.
Okay.
So let's snap, crackle, and pop through all the reasons why National Cereal Day on March 7th should be in your day planner and on your menu. Just be careful and maybe cover your kids' ears if Mike decides to tell you why cornflakes were invented.
Do you know how cornflakes were invented?
Oh, yeah.
I don't. What is that?
I talked about it on...
You did?
I think I talked about it on the show.
Yeah, I
before.
forgot what it was.
I'll tell you when we're off the air.
Okay, all right. Is it really that bad?
It just wasn't... It wasn't... The design of the original cornflake was not to enhance our breakfast
cereal.
Yeah, what is that? A balanced breakfast? It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't. It evolved in that. That's what came after when it didn't do what it was supposed to.
Okay, well, we're gonna talk about this.
That was Kellogg. If you want to look that up, look up Kellogg and ask why Kellogg invented cornflakes, and you will find a really interesting story.
Was this some of the digestive system thing?
Nope, has nothing to do with digestion.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll have to take a look at that.
Anyway, so today's Mumble, I have a inappropriate Mikey joke for Life Cereal, but I won't talk about that.
Did you use that in your stand-up?
No, but it was one of the ones that I had written down.
Okay, all right, here we go. Okay,
if Mikey ever got tired of life.
Why?
I said, never mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so Marc has to say about Johnny Drum Bourbon. This used to be an award-winning bourbon with 15-year age statement. As bourbon has grown in popularity and many, many different ones have come to the market, Johnny Drum no longer has an age statement and has been regulated to the back of the shelf. If you're a person that prefers the sweeter Buffalo Trace or Heaven Hill products, this bourbon would not be appealing. And if you have an affinity towards high rye bourbons, this might be a hidden find for you.
I kind of like it as a hidden find for me. I'm loving this. I like this now. I just had my second taste during that next break. A little bit different than the first taste that I have. You're all out of it, so you must have liked it a little bit.
As it sits there and breathes, it gets a more peppery taste to it.
It does. I really like it.
Makes it really good if I'm not expecting something.
We'll have to pour you some more in just a
sweeter.
little bit, right? You're going to need to get a little bit more because you're all out. Fill it back up. All right. Thank you for that. Mumble Marc. Mike, thank you for reading that. Now let's get ready for our technology fail of the week, brought to you by Elite Executive Services.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right. This week's technology fail comes to us from Mark Zuckerberg. Quietly has buried the Metaverse. Okay, the Metaverse was the biggest thing we've talked about for the last year and a half.
No, it isn't.
All Meta was doing was Metaverse, virtual reality, headsets, virtual reality. Guess what happened last week? In the middle of the night.
What happened?
All of a sudden, the CEOs of the media giant Meta have been slain by the AI chatbot ChatGPT. There is no press release, no big announcement, as all of a sudden, Mark has acknowledged he's no longer working on Meta. So was Mark Zuckerberg wrong? Absolutely. But make no mistake, Mark Zuckerberg just buried the Metaverse without officially declaring it dead. The Metaverse was supposed to be the next big thing for social media tycoons who talked about this in 2021 and who went so far to say that he renamed his empire that created Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp to the Meta platforms.
Yeah, I think that was a bad idea.
Simply put, the Metaverse is an immersive virtual world in which you are supposed to interact with each other using specialized glasses and virtual reality headsets. It was the future of technology, so either this was a wrong move or, it was a wrong move. Essentially, the company has doubted the devotion of the idea, and Meta invested billions of dollars into the massively hyped project to the chagrin of company shareholders. And guess who wins in a company? It's not the creative individual that started the company.
It's the shareholders.
It's the shareholders. In 2001 and 2002, Reality Labs, a division housed in the Metaverse project, recorded a cumulative loss of more than $24 billion and include $13.7 billion just last year. I mean, these are gross countries' overall total run economy system. When you have $24 billion, how many countries out there in the world could use that to run their economic situations?
I don't know. I could
over
use a piece of
60%.
that.
Over 60% of the countries in the world could use this to average their standard yearly budget.
Yeah, how about
and it
that?
was spent on software.
I could use a little bit about that.
So I think everybody could, right? Meta has now created a top-level AI team to combat ChatGPT's rise to success. So essentially, he's taken all of his money, all of his efforts, in the middle of the night on a Saturday night, like, oops, I sucked. The board of directors got together, said, listen, Marc, you're not spending any more of our Meta money on this. You're done with your little playground tool that you're going to do. Apple's going to come out with augmented reality, which is way better than what you're creating. We need you to now focus on trying to get back into the industry for ChatGPT and these other AI tools that people are actually interested in. Wouldn't it be nice if Facebook could have been one of these first ones to come out with that?
Is that what was happening in the boardroom?
And now the boardroom has to have a decision. What do you do for companies like Nike that have spent more than $5 million in buying real estate in the Metaverse Facebook world?
I imagine there's something in the contract that says it's not guaranteed.
Well, you got Macy's doing this. You have other companies that have spent millions of dollars to buy real estate in the Metaverse realm world. Not me, because I didn't buy it in Metaverse. I did their competitor. So I'm doing. Yeah,
I thought you did Metaverse.
I never did any Metaverse. I was looking into it.
I thought you bought yourself a little square patch.
It's in a Metaverse. It's in a verse that's out there. So it's not the Metaverse that's out.
You can put your salt away, buddy.
Okay, so Mark Zuckerberg, game over, man. I said this about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, our buddy
on the show, I said Meta will not be here 5 years from that time. We're now 3 years and a half into this, and if he doesn't figure out what to do now with Facebook and all this AI stuff, you can pretty much kiss all of Meta's enterprise.
Well, did you
goodbye.
see Nick Espinosa's theory on what was going to happen here?
I did. You told me about it last night on our pre-production show.
Yeah,
so I didn't read all of what Nick said. What did he say?
he was theorizing that they'll inundate with Meta with bots essentially.
Yeah.
That are run by the ChatGPT.
Yeah,
that one.
Okay.
And that you won't know that you're interacting with something similar to the dating website Ashley Madison. So you should check that out. I watched that on Nick's Twitter feed. So
okay, absolutely. Give Nick a check. Take a look at that.
I'm giving him a shout out. Right.
All right, there you go. Now we are going to head to our last commercial break. When we come on back, we have Mike's mesmerizing moment and a Nathan Nugget. Sit back, raise a glass. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, Collected Writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com. All right, here's your mesmerizing moment.
Okay.
All right. Mike, sales of plant food products at grocery stores have been growing 3 times as fast as overall food sales. You give me a hard time with our post-show wrap-up meeting when I order an Impossible Burger. Did you know that Hershey's has debuted plant-based peanut butter cups in chocolate bars? Now, my question to you, Mr. Gourdet, is would you eat a dairy-free Reese's peanut butter cup or a Hershey's chocolate bar that goes on sale this spring that is made of plant food?
Are you serious
This
right
is
now?
exactly-
How is it went from talking about ChatGPT and
Well, because
robot
you
cars
guilted
and
me
all this other stuff?
Well, because you
to
guilted
this?
me last week at our post-production meeting.
I didn't guilt you. I just said, wow, you're eating real meat.
Okay. So my question to you, here's my question, is your mesmerizing moment. Now, Hershey's debuting plant-based food. Are you going to have some peanut butter cups and chocolate bars
Okay,
if they're made from plant-based?
So let me just point out something to you, which you may not have realized when you asked that question, but both peanuts and chocolate come from plants.
Okay.
So...
But this is like a non-dairy.
I will probably be eating something that has non-dairy, but is still plant-based because it tastes good. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go out and buy an Impossible Burger.
Okay, all right.
That's just me.
Okay.
No offense to vegetarians, but I don't particularly care for the taste of some of these plant-based foods that are knockoffs of meat-based products.
It tastes great. All right, okay. Well, now we're going to go into our Nathan Nugget.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
Okay, so I got like 8 things on my Nugget of the Week. I don't know how I'm going to get through all of these. But here's we go.
Are they plant-based?
No, they're not. That was your question. All right. Have you heard of Pluto TV?
Yes.
Have you watched Pluto TV?
No.
Oh, my gosh. It is the best deal out there. Let me just tell you, Pluto TV, it's Pluto.tv, essentially now has a new channel of streaming platform services is what they do. So you can watch either live shows that run every hour with commercials like an old-fashioned show, or you can watch streaming services. Now they have a Rocky channel, which has Rockies 1 through 5 and the Rocky Balboa movie, and it plays 24/7. So you could literally just sit there and watch Rocky movies for free.
Well, that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend.
Now, are you a fan of WOW, Women of Wrestling?
No.
Okay, well, there's a dedicated station on Pluto.tv just for that. How about Sailor Moon? Have you ever watched Sailor Moon?
No.
Okay, well, if you're in the animated series Sailor Moon, there's also a feature with hundreds of other episodes available to watch. Now,
so what you're telling me here is that Pluto has all these stations dedicated to these specific items, right?
That's correct.
Why wouldn't I just go to like one platform that has all these things on them already?
Well, Pluto TV is maybe that platform. Guess what it has? Have you ever seen the TV show Cops?
Yep.
Pluto TV has it for free. Have you ever seen the TV show Matlock?
Sure.
All right, for free. Andy Griffith Show, you've seen that?
Mm-hmm.
It's available on Pluto TV for free every episode.
So it has all the stuff I grew up with.
How about Mission Impossible? Did you like Mission Impossible?
This is all stuff I grew up with.
Mork and Mindy? You like Mork and Mindy?
Yep.
How about Happy Days? You like Happy Days?
Yeah, I watched all that stuff.
Twilight Show? How about The Outer Limits? I Love Lucy, MacGyver, Taxi, The Fugitive, and more.
Why?
The A-Team's on here. The A-Team is on here streaming all the time.
This used to be Nick at Night, buddy.
I know. This is now available on Pluto.tv. It's already available for you to use. For free.
No, I'm just going to go and stream Rocky all day this weekend.
I know. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
This is like the best. I just discovered this 2 weeks ago.
Is it free with ads or just free?
So it's free if you do some of the streams.
It's free with
ads. Then it's free with ads if you watch it on the hour because it has to fill the commercial time to that hour
That's
slot.
what your money buys you these days.
But that's the same as
platforms that don't have ads.
Well, okay, let me just tell you. This is free, and I can watch Happy Days with newer commercials, but the same Happy Days with the Fonz. I don't have to find it anywhere. Forget anything else.
All right. Well, I just want to really see the one where he jumps the shark.
Oh, that was on. Actually, that was on the other night too. I was like, oh, here's where it went down.
I think we just finally jumped one.
All right. So now the last thing on my Nathan Nugget.
Oh no.
Over-the-air TV is getting a 4K makeover. So 4K TV is now coming. So I'm just telling you right now, all you need is an internet connection to watch Pluto.tv. If you're in my age bracket group, 40 to 55. In 55 to 65. Now, if you get rid of your cable box, get rid of your Dish Network television that doesn't work anymore because it got hacked, or your DirecTV, you can get free over-the-air TV that's getting 4K signal. So essentially the live broadcast. Now, remember we used to have a television with an antenna at home. You had to put that little round thing on the UHF channel to get additional signals.
Yeah, bunny ears.
You had rabbit ears that were going on out, and sometimes you had aluminum foil connecting them to the outside of different stuff and to the window to get better reception. This is now available 4K streaming for over-the-air TV. So all these other stations, if I want to get Fox locally, boom, 4K.
So if I want to watch I Love Lucy in all its grainy quality, this is the Pluto.tv. Okay.
That's Pluto.tv.
I know what I'm doing this weekend. Certainly not dating.
Well, there you go. You know what? Pluto.tv is available for you. Okay. It's got everything that you need.
All right.
I mean, it's so good.
Okay.
I have no money on Pluto TV.
I'm glad that you find that to be something really awesome.
Okay. Well, we need to do our pick of the day for our whiskey tasting here real quick.
Okay.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, we got the Johnny Drum Bourbon, private stock, 101 proof, 66, 69. Mr. Gourdet, what do you think?
I'm going to give this a thumbs up as a kind of.
I'm giving it a thumbs up. Also, Odie didn't get a drink today.
She didn't get a drink today.
She's doing better. All right, remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to TechTimeRadio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.